Okay. Hey guys, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel, and welcome to another video. I'm not gonna lie, I am tired today. Avery has been refusing to be put to bed over the last few nights, resulting in her not actually going to sleep until about 10:30, 11 o'clock in the evening, and her naps seem to be a little bit non-existent at the moment, so I am a little bit tired, a little bit run down. So I feel like I need to take a little bit more of a chilled approach to filming today. So I thought, why not do a good old-fashioned Amazon favourites? I haven't done one of these on my channel before, but I am an avid Amazon shopper and I love Amazon favourite videos. I like to see what people buy, I like to see what's good, and the way I define a favourite isn't just something that I've bought and I liked, it's something that I've bought and I have used or do use continuously. It's turned into a bit of a staple in my day-to-day life. So that's how I define a favourite. That is what pretty much everything I'm going to mention in this video is for me. Most of it is baby items, I'm not going to lie, because a lot of the time the majority of the things I shop on Amazon for is for this little one right here. If you are new to my channel, Avery here is 19 months old, but she does have cerebral palsy. She had a 40-minute cardiac arrest when she was 3 days old, resulting in a hypoxic brain injury. So although she is 19 months old, she is still a lot like a small baby. So just to give you a bit of context on the items that I'm talking about, you may think that she's a bit old for a lot of this, but in actual fact, they still work really, really well even at the age she's at now. Avery also has dystonia, so if you see her stretching a lot and you see me struggling to hold her like this, that is her dystonia, that's her dystonic patterns, and they just cause uncontrollable spasms, which is what these movements are. So now that I've inoculated you guys, let's get into the video. So the first item is her baby monitor, and it's actually classed as an indoor camera, I suppose, and it's by a brand called Laxi Hub. I bought this on Amazon, obviously, and I really, really love it. We did have one of those kind of just standard camera baby monitors that came with its own screen, but the visual wasn't amazing and the sound quality wasn't that good, and especially when Avery went into her own room, which wasn't until she was a year old, by the way, we needed something that the visual was a little bit more crisp and the sound quality was much better, because Avery does have a SATS monitor at night and we needed to be able to hear that really clearly if it were to go off. So we really love the one that we chose. It sits just kind of above her cot so we can see her perfectly. I will make sure I get some clips on what she looks like when she's on the screen so you can see the kind of quality of the visual. And what I love about it is I can actually connect the camera to an app on my phone. That is how I see her, it's all in my phone. But then if I am using my phone for any other reason, then it will send me notifications if there's any movement in her bedroom. So say I'm checking a text message or I'm on the phone and I'm not looking at her on the screen, I will get a notification if she wakes up, which is really, really handy. The second item from Amazon, or items from Amazon that we use and love, are actually these blankets, or this one in particular that you can see on Avery's lap here. These are just swaddle blankets and I bought them from an Amazon shop called Wrong. But what I love about these, if you are an old-fashioned swaddler, then you will absolutely love these. These are really big in size, they are soft and they have a slight stretch to them, but not too much. So Avery still needs to be swaddled for her nap, otherwise there would just be absolutely no way we'd be able to put her down without startling. She's got a real strong startle reflex. So we still swaddle her during her nap. Obviously we know that past a certain point it isn't safe to swaddle at night, so we don't swaddle her at night just in case, because obviously we're asleep and we don't have our eyes on her at all times. But during the day they are super, super helpful, and especially in the summertime as well, when it's too warm for a proper blanket, these are just nice and lightweight. And the designs I chose I think are really adorable. This one just has flamingos on it, and then I also have the other one. It comes in a pack of 2 right here, so just so you can get an idea of the size, it is very big. It's like a muslin type material, but it's a soft muslin, and this one just has some really adorable little feathers on it. I just really love these. I can't believe we're still using swaddle blankets 19 months in, but I bought these before Avery was even born, and I'm so glad that I did. I have used other kind of swaddling devices. I've tried the Velcro versions, I've tried the zip versions, but I just don't think anything beats the good old-fashioned swaddle technique. The third item that is on my favourites list is a little bit random considering the 2 things that I've just mentioned, and it is a pack of these little baby food storage pots. For those of you that don't know, Avery is G-tube fed, and she is on a full blended diet at the moment, which means it's real food blended up and given to her via the G-tube. And I do batch cook, so I need a place to store these foods individually to keep in the freezer or the fridge or wherever. When I typed into Amazon baby food storage pots, they were quite small, and Avery is 19 months old, so she needs a fair bit of food. Whereas I suppose normally when you're weaning a baby with purees or with baby food, they're not really having that much because the majority of their nutrition is still coming from their milk. But I needed something bigger, and then I found these, and these are from a brand called Bieber, I think it's how they're pronounced, but they came in a pack of 5, and what I like about them is they are 8 ounces, which is 250 ml, which is more than enough for a blend for Avery at the moment. I mean, it may go up in time. But what I also like about these is they are dishwasher safe, they are freezer safe, and they are microwave safe, which is necessary for me really, because they need to be able to withstand being in boiling water. If they are kind of just warming up to body temperature, they need to be able to go in the microwave. If I am heating up a blend that has meat in it, it had to be dishwasher safe because Avery goes through 3 to 4 blends a day, so we just needed to be able to use the dishwasher for them. And I think a bonus point is that the lids come in really adorable, aesthetically pleasing colours. I will insert a picture somewhere on the screen of the colours that the lids come in, but I think as an overall they are quite unisex. I mean, this is the only girly colour, which is pink. The rest are pretty unisex, and they're just so cute, and when they're all together they just look so aesthetically pleasing. Not that that really does anything for me, because it's not like I've got them on show all the time, but it makes me happy when I look at them. What's the matter? Do they not make you happy, or is it because it's empty? Is it because it's empty? You know what this is, don't you? So I brought you into the kitchen, and the reason why is because my next favourite is actually a kitchen item, and like I said, the majority of the things that I'm talking about are used on a day-to-day basis for us, and it is the Costy baby bottle warmer. It sits proudly on our worktop because we do use this pretty much every single day. Now, we've only actually had this for a few months, and it was kindly gifted to us, but I'm sure if you watch my channel then you will have seen it a few times showcased in my videos, and that is because I really love it. I'll be honest, before I got the bottle warmer, I was more of a kind of hot water in a jug kind of person, and that is how I would heat up milk and certain baby foods. That's how I did it with my boys. That's how I had been doing it with Avery's milk. It wasn't until I actually got the bottle warmer that I realised just how much easier and more convenient it made my life, just because it heats up the food. And I say food because I don't use it for milk as such. I do in the evenings, but I also use it to heat her breakfast, which is usually a breakfast blend, and then I also use it to heat up some of her savoury meals, as long as they don't have meat or fish or anything that needs to be heated properly in it. But the bottle warmer actually heats it to a perfect body temperature, around 37 degrees, which is perfect for little baby tummies, because obviously that is the temperature of their tummy, so it is less likely to cause any cramps or discomfort as the food goes in. And because Avery is G-tube fed and that food is directly going into her stomach and not into her mouth, I like to make that experience as comfortable for her as possible when I can. And while I'm in the kitchen, I'm going to talk about something that is right behind me just there that has been an absolute life changer for us. So this is just a magnetic whiteboard, and as you can see, it is kind of designed in a way to organize, I suppose. And we use this to sort of keep track of her meal times and her medicine amounts, any phone numbers, any important notes that me and my husband need to leave for each other, things that we need to remember. It's just been really, really handy. I mean, as you can see at the moment, I've got all of Avery's med and feed times on here as well, because I did go away last week and my husband wasn't used to doing all the feeds himself, so I had it all on here, and then he used this as a checklist every single day to make sure he was giving her everything at the right time, and it just came in handy, and it just lives on our fridge where the whole family can see it. When Avery first came home from hospital after her cardiac arrest, we were bringing home this baby that was NG tube fed, that had all of these medicines, and to be honest, it was really, really daunting. It was quite terrifying. We were worried we were going to forget something, we were going to forget a medicine dosage, we were going to forget a feed time, we were going to forget how to do things. So we knew we needed this board just to keep track of timings and everything that we needed to be doing. Now, for me now, I'm with Avery every single day. It's like second nature. I personally don't need to use this a lot, but when I was transitioning Avery onto blends, this came in handy because I could write down all of her fluid and calorie requirements for each time of the day and make sure I was checking those in. It comes in handy for my husband because, like I said, he isn't at home as much, so if there's something that changes and I'm the one that's home when it's changed, I can write it on the board so that if he is to do the same thing the next day, he knows that that's what's changed and that's what he needs to do, because Avery's meds and feeds and things, they're always changing, so there's always something that we need to be tracking, I suppose. We are making our way through the house because the next things I want to talk about are in my hallway, and the first thing I want to talk about is not the stroller itself, guys, although if you watch my channel you will have heard me talk about it a few times because I just really love the design of it, but the insert. So this is a newborn insert, and we have had so many issues just trying to find a pushchair that will support Avery's posture and her head more than anything, and we are still on the hunt. But in the meantime, I just bought this little insert from Amazon, and what I like about it is it has these little cushions here. So Avery's head will go here, and these little cushions will sit either side of her neck, just on top of her shoulders. And that just keeps her head from flopping around, which means she's in an upright position. I don't have to worry about her kind of going a bit ski-whiff. She is nice and secure in there. Now, it isn't perfect for the disabilities that Avery has, but it has just given us a temporary solution until we can actually get a pushchair that suits her needs properly. And then the next thing, which is also related to the pushchair, which again, you will have heard me talk about before, is this stroller organizer, and this was kind of a last minute buy before I went to Disneyland Paris. We went to Disneyland Paris back in July, and this really came in handy, and to be honest, it has been coming in handy ever since. So it does just strap onto the handle. You can do it so that it's one strap on each handle, but this is just the way I have it for now. But it has two little compartments on the front. I think this one is designed more for tissues and things because it has a zip, but I just use it for random bits and bobs. And then this little slot here, which I wish I could say it was big enough for a bottle, but I don't think it is, but it's perfect for my phone, which is what usually lives in there. And then if I'm just going for a walk, or I'm popping around to my mum's, or say if we are popping into town and we're taking the car but then using the pushchair around town, this is handy because I can stuff all the things that we will actually need in here, and I don't have to lug around the baby bag. So things like nappies and wipes, things that you will need just for a short amount of time. This organizer is perfect for that, and like I said, it has come in handy, especially in the summertime because I don't always have pockets, so it is nice just to have somewhere I can shove my phone on the school run. And now we're in my bedroom, and we're in my bedroom because Avery is watching Frozen downstairs, and she started to get a bit frustrated with me that I was talking over it. So Avery is chilling downstairs at the moment watching Frozen. She is actually due for her lunch pretty soon, so if you hear me starting to ramble or talk really, really fast, then that is probably why. I am just being quite conscious of the time. So the next thing that I want to mention, which has been really handy this summer, these baby sunglasses. I did find these on Amazon. They have a little strap on the back which keeps them on Avery's head, and it is also adjustable. This is on quite a tight adjustment at the moment because Avery's head is still quite small, but I just thought the design is really, really cute. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't go for them because of the design. That was just a bonus. The reason I purchased something as bougie as baby sunglasses is because Avery is quite sensitive in the sunlight, and these have just really helped get us out and about when the sun is shining, especially if she's in the baby carrier and not kind of in the pushchair where she's shaded. I noticed that if we're in the sunlight, she will keep her eyes closed, but she will open them if she's wearing these sunglasses. So they have come in handy, and like I said, the design is adorable, and then they're in this cute little beige colour, which I think is really nice. They did have different colours as well, but I really like these, and then I just keep them in this little pouch. To go along with sunglasses and sunshine, I also want to talk about this stroller fan, and if you follow my channel then you will have seen this many times before throughout the summer, because we are forever paranoid about something triggering a seizure with Avery. We know that because she has a brain injury, she's always going to be more susceptible to having seizures in the future, and heat is something that can trigger seizure, especially if she overheats. So when it is really, really warm, like in the UK this year, we had quite a heat wave. It was very, very hot, and we actually had the boys' sports days over that heat wave. So it was really, really warm. So I just attached this to her stroller, and it just keeps the inside of the stroller, the air circulating inside of the stroller, nice and cool for her. I mean, it's not a miracle worker, you know, it doesn't make the area ice cold, but it just keeps enough cooler air going around her stroller so that I feel a bit more comfortable knowing that she's not going to overheat. We also took this to Paris as well because it was very hot in Paris, and it really came in handy, and I will continue to use this in the summertime because I know it works, and you just recharge it. The fan has 3 speeds. I usually use it on the highest speed, and then it also has a light which goes brighter and dimmer. This was an absolute lifesaver this summer, so I couldn't not mention it. This next thing, I wouldn't really consider it a favourite just because we don't use it, but the reason why we don't use it is because we were at a stage earlier on in Avery's development where we thought we were about to need it. We thought it was about to come into fruition, and then Avery kind of sidestepped a little bit, which meant we didn't actually get to use them. But it is these, and well, this came in a pack of 5, which is why I say these. And I know this looks like a bit of an odd contraption. It's pretty obvious that it's a cup, but it is a flexi cup, and Avery's speech and language therapist actually recommended this to me because when she had started to spoon feed, I mean, we're talking a while ago now, like I said, she has sidestepped, and we're not doing oral feeding at the moment. We hopefully will start to again in the future, but when she was, the next step was going to be trying to get her to drink from a cup. Her speech therapist didn't think it was worth trying the bottle again because it took too much coordination. But these are the cups she recommended, and I wanted to mention it because I was shocked to see that you could buy them on Amazon, because I wouldn't have thought that you could get specialist things on Amazon, but apparently you can. So this is a flexi cup, and basically it just works so that when their little nose is up against the cup, it's not pushing into their nose. So it's easier to give babies a drink or children a drink if you're holding the cup, and you don't have to worry about being able to get the cup tilted enough and then smushing their nose. I'm not sure how well I explained that. I feel like I completely rambled through that because I don't really know, you know, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a therapist, but that is the general gist of it. But the reason why I mentioned it is because I was quite surprised to see something so specialised on Amazon. I was quite impressed with Amazon for that, and the price was pretty decent actually. They were pretty affordable, and if you're a special needs mum, then I'm sure you will appreciate what I'm saying in the fact that special needs equipment isn't exactly always the cheapest. It's definitely not, so kudos to Amazon for actually stocking something like this and for making the price right. The next thing, or things, because I have many many of them are baby hair clips, baby bows. There isn't often times when you will see Avery without a bow. I say that, but she's not wearing a bow today. That is because she's still got her hair in the same ponytail that I put it in last night, but usually Avery is wearing a bow, either to complement a little ponytail or just to clip her hair away out of her face. And the reason why I'm recommending these bows, because I have tried others, is for some reason, I don't know if it's because it has a little bit of felt kind of on it, but these actually grip. They don't grip as such, but I just find that they stay in her hair a lot better than others that I've tried. Others I've tried tend to just slip out. These ones actually hold, and what I also love about them, which was the main reason I bought them, is you get 2 of each colour. So if I've got her hair in little pigtails, she can have matching bows on either side. I know this is very materialistic. Well, no, not materialistic, very superficial. That was the word I was looking for. But does anyone not love dressing up their baby girl? Because I do. It's one of my favourite things to do Avery's hair and put pretty little bows in it. And she has such beautiful hair, so I want to decorate it. We've switched angles to make this video ever so slightly more interesting. The next thing that I want to mention, I need to think of a new way to say that because I feel like I'm saying the word mention far too many times. The next Amazon favourite is a sound machine. And I'm sure there are many parents that will agree with me in saying these things are absolute lifesavers. But I had a bit of a love-hate relationship with white noise in the beginning, and I'll tell you why. When Avery went into her cardiac arrest, the night she went into her cardiac arrest was actually the first night I ever used white noise. I had purchased one of these on Amazon the day before, but it hadn't yet arrived, so I had it on my phone. So, you know, you can kind of figure the rest out for yourself. From that point then, white noise was just related to trauma for me. So when she was in hospital and this actually arrived, I didn't use it for a very long time just because of the trauma that was behind the idea of white noise. But this is the Dream Egg sound machine, by the way, and this is the portable version. I believe you can get a kind of plug-in version, but this one you can charge and take with you on the go, but we just keep it in Avery's room because that's where we use it. This one actually comes with lots of different sound effects. So when she was in hospital, we actually put this on the lullaby, which soothed her, and it didn't make me feel anxious because it wasn't white noise, it was a lullaby, and then it made me feel as though I hadn't completely wasted my money. But now, after we came home, which is just the strangest thing, the way the mind kind of works, we use white noise now and the sound doesn't bother me now. Actually, it's quite soothing because it's always on when Avery is in bed. If I ever go to bed and the white noise isn't on, I feel a bit lost, I feel a bit like I can't get to sleep, it's too quiet. If I hear the lullaby on this that we used in the hospital, that triggers bad emotions for me now, which is just the strangest thing because it used to be the exact opposite. So it goes to show just how much time can really heal the mind. But anyway, back to the point, I really like this sound machine. Obviously you can change the volume, you can also put it on a lock setting so you can't change whatever volume or settings that you've put it on. It has lots of different sounds, white noise, it has like a Hoover sound, it has a rain sound, it has lullabies. It's just really good. We only use it for the white noise now because that's the noise that Avery has gotten used to, but oh my goodness, we notice the difference if we don't use this. If this gets turned off or it runs out of battery because we've forgotten to plug it in, Avery wakes up instantly, literally. As soon as it turns off, she will start to stir. So this is an absolute staple for us, and I think if ever this one went kaput, we would just have to buy another one. I don't think we would have another choice. I don't know if she would sleep without this now. Avery's had her lunch and she has finally gone down for a nap. I don't know how long she's gonna nap for, so I just have a few more favourites that I really want to include in this video. This little device single-handedly saved mine and my husband's sleep after we brought Avery home from the hospital. So this is a snoozer hero, and this was recommended to us by a nurse that we had spoken to in the hospital, or it might have been our health visitor actually. I think it might have been our health visitor at the time, but Either way, a professional recommended this specific device to us, and this was before we were able to get hold of a SATS monitor. And we knew, just because of how Avery got her brain injury, the fact that she went into a cardiac arrest, we knew that we were going to really struggle to sleep. Knowing that we couldn't really be keeping an eye on Avery and checking on her, making sure she was breathing, which, I mean, you know, I think that's quite a standard for a lot of new parents in general, but for us, we had a lot more reason to be really paranoid, I suppose. So this clips onto the front of their nappy, a baby's nappy, and it just kind of sits just here on their tummy. And what it does is it monitors the breaths. So every breath Avery would take, this little monitor would make a little click sound. So we would essentially be hearing her breathing through the clicks through this little monitor. And then if she didn't take a breath for X amount of time, it would alarm. Now, this isn't the loudest thing, so I am really, really pleased that we have the SATS monitor now. But in those few months that we didn't, this really just allowed us to go to sleep. And if we woke up in the night, we would just listen out and we could hear the clicks. So we knew that she was breathing and she was okay. So this was a really, really good investment. You can get it on Amazon, obviously. I'm so glad we bought it, and we keep hold of it just in case both of her SATS monitors decide to spontaneously go down on us. At least we have this as a backup. The next two things that I want to mention are both things that I have mentioned in my videos before, and those are the car tablet holder that we use in our car and also our baby mirror that we use in the car. And these two things I use side by side in conjunction with each other, and those are my little setup for when Avery's in the car and I'm traveling alone with her. Now, we don't travel very far. I did film a video just a couple of weeks ago which kind of showcases exactly why I don't travel very far with Avery, but normally our journeys are no longer than 2 minutes, but even in those 2 minutes I need to make sure that she is distracted and that I can see her, just for safety reasons. Avery, like I said, really loves Frozen. It is a bit of a fail-safe for us, so I will put Frozen on the tablet and that will go in the tablet holder so she can see it perfectly, and then I can see her perfectly in the mirror in the car. So those two things are definitely something I couldn't do without. Another thing I really wanted to give a shout out to, but I don't have it here to show you because Avery no longer fits in it, is the Fribo winter sleeping bag. Again, another amazing Amazon find, and here in the UK it can get quite cold in the winter, and this house that we live in isn't the best in terms of insulation, and if we don't have the heating on through the night, which we don't because we have kerosene oil and we just wouldn't be able to keep that up, it gets very, very, very cold through the night. And a lot of the sleeping bags that we found on the kind of general market were sleeveless. They're generally sleeveless and they generally only go up to a certain tog. I found this one on Amazon and it has detachable sleeves and it was 3.5 tog, and it was the best thing through the winter. It kept Avery nice and warm. If I found that we had a milder night, I would just unzip the sleeves. And I really loved that it had a reversible zip, which came in really handy for the wire from Avery's SATS monitor and her G-tube. It was a really, really good find, and I used it all through last winter, and I'm not gonna lie, if it gets as cold as it did last year, I'm probably gonna try and find the same thing in the next size up. Now that's everything in terms of baby stuff and everything that I found on Amazon that I found helpful for Avery. There were just a couple of things that I wanted to mention that aren't to do with Avery. They're things that I have bought for myself, but they are my favourite things at the moment that I've bought on Amazon. The first one being this contraption. This is a laptop stand, and I actually filmed the day that I bought this laptop stand or had this laptop stand delivered, and let me tell you, it has been an absolute game changer. So I have a very, very old MacBook Pro, and when I say old, I mean it's 10 years old. It hasn't received updates for years. The fan is on constantly. It is always overheating, and this just helps to keep it cool. I have noticed a massive difference in the heat of the laptop. The fan doesn't turn on nearly as much and it just doesn't get as hot, and not only that, it has really helped with my back because it raises the laptop a little bit. It means that I'm not as hunched over trying to type the keys. So this has definitely been a favourite. I am really, really glad that I bought this. The last thing that I want to mention is actually something fairly new. I recently bought an iPad, number one, to help take a little bit of pressure off of my laptop, but number two, for other things like interactive games for Avery, Frozen, of course, her baby monitor. It's just kind of a multi-purpose purchase, really. But I recently bought this stylus pen. Now this is from a brand called ENQUIRIES, I think that's how you pronounce it. But I was looking at the magic pencils and I just knew for a fact there would be absolutely no way that, number one, I'd be able to afford it at this time, but number two, I could justify spending that amount of money on what was essentially a stylus. So I took to Amazon, and to my surprise, I found these alternative, which was a small fraction of the price, and it works perfectly. So I use this in, I think the app is called Sketchbook. So if you see in my thumbnails, sometimes there's a line drawn around my body. That's what I use for that. I also use this to create a lot of my digital products in Keynote. This comes in really, really handy. I'm really, really, really happy with this purchase, and I just can't believe the price it was considering how expensive the magic pencils are. I also, at the same time, bought a case that has a keyboard with it, and I have shown this case before, and I am still really, really happy with it. I do really, really like the keyboard. It works brilliantly. It connects with Bluetooth, and it essentially just turns my iPad into a bit of a laptop. What I don't love about this setup though is the case. It is a bit too bulky for my liking. What I do like about it is I can put the stylus in there and the keyboard and the iPad, and I can keep everything together. So I did actually take this one to Crete with me when I went, just to keep it all together, to keep it safe. But when I'm at home, I just use a normal, more lightweight case, and then I'll take the keyboard and use the keyboard separately, which you can do. You don't have to keep it in the case, but if I could go back, then I would have probably just bought a keyboard on its own and not the case. But the stylus, definitely no regrets. I really have been enjoying using that. So that, I think, is where I'm gonna leave it for today. I think I've mentioned a fair few things. Yes, a lot of them were baby related, but that is generally what runs my life at the moment. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to follow us along on our journey, then please hit the subscribe button and turn on your notifications so that you're notified of all of my future uploads. And with that said, I will see you in a few videos with another video. No, I will see you in a few days with another video. Bye guys.